Invasion started 56 days ago, and today the fighting has intensified.
Russia's new drive to take the eastern Donbass region of Ukraine now underway. The Kremlin declaring the start of this next phase of its war, with missile and artillery strikes across a 300-mile-wide front. Russian forces also trying to storm the last major holdout in the strategic city of Mariupol. But dug-in Ukrainian defenders today defying another Russian demand to surrender. Their last line of defense, the Azovstal steel factory. Ukrainian fighters and at least 1,000 civilians are believed to have hunkered down there.
ABC's James Longman. Confusion over the transportation mask mandate. Major airlines no longer requiring them, but several cities are. ABC's Ike Ajachi.
A federal judge in Florida overturning the CDC's travel mask mandate. The Department of Justice says it'll appeal the decision if the CDC concludes that a mandatory order is necessary for the public's health. The department also questioning the precedent behind the decision. Can one federal judge overrule the CDC on public health matters?
Another question, travelers banned for refusing to wear a mask. United Airlines saying it'll allow some of them to fly again. The White House pushing back against a new report that claims President Biden may delay lifting Title 42, the rule allowing migrants to be turned away at the border during the pandemic. The rule is set to expire next month. And it's 420, a day marijuana users celebrate, but tomorrow's the big day for New Jersey.
Legal sales of recreational marijuana begin in New Jersey Thursday. Governor Phil Murphy won't be partaking.
It's never been an animating thing for me.
His preference, what outlaw country singer-songwriter Unknown Hinson calls brown party liquor.
If we were legalizing scotch, I would show up with a shopping cart.
You're listening to ABC News.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary. Oil keeps going up as the Russia conflict escalates. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. with your patriotic investment that can potentially pay you monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. The U.S. government needs your investment in oil and is allowing you to write off nearly 100% of your investment in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel. Call 800-278-7455. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 800-278-7455. You'll be calling directly to the home office of Encore Energy. That's 800-278-7455.
Search teams in South Africa still looking for dozens of people missing after weeks of rain set off deadly flooding. The death toll now at least 448 people, more than 40,000 forced from their homes. Police in Pittsburgh updating the injury numbers from this weekend's deadly party shooting. They now say 9 people were wounded in the gunfire. 2 17-year-old males were killed. They were just weeks away from graduating high school. A British judge this morning has formally approved the extradition of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to the United States to face espionage charges. The British government still needs to decide whether to grant the extradition. COVID lockdown rules are easing in the Chinese city of Shanghai. About 4 million more people are now being allowed out of their homes. Some 25 million live there. And in Southern California, a whole lot of cameras are rolling.
The movie magic is flowing in Hollywood. A record number of days of shooting film and TV shows in Los Angeles in the first quarter of the year. According to Film LA, just over 9,800 total days, beating the previous first quarter record set back in 2016. And that's up over 40% from last year. That's 2 straight record-setting quarters of production. Broken down into category, reality TV shooting was up big time, TV comedies and movies overall up a little, but TV drama shoots were actually down 12% from last year. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is ABC News.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
I'm Derek Dennis, ABC News.
It's the time of year to come to NC Tractor for the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. NC Tractor gives fantastic customer service, the best discounts possible, and it's a locally owned business. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue is helping to make outdoor work more enjoyable. Should you have something that you can be proud of for a long time? Massey Ferguson and Bobcat zero-turn mowers. Come look them over. 299 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford. That phone number is 288-0395.
Once we get out of our spring freeze early Wednesday, we are going to see temperatures rebound. We're heading into the mid-60s and lower 70s today with a lot of sunshine on tap. And then tonight, we're down into the low to mid-40s. Looking at highs to be warmer tomorrow in the low to upper 70s, and some areas to the south could sneak in highs in the 80s. Dry conditions will persist for the rest of this week. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We've dropped to 34 degrees. Started out this morning at 35. We're down to 34, but it will be climbing all the way up to 67 for a daytime high, with wind gusting to about 11 miles per hour. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood as we start this Hump Day Wednesday morning. Thank you for joining us for the Call Around News Report. We got a lot to accomplish this hour, and we hope you'll hang around with us and see what news develops. Right now, we'll have these death announcements. William Frank McDaniel, Sr., age 84, passed away Friday, April 15th at White Oak Manor in Shelby. A private graveside service will be held. The family wishes to express appreciation to the staff and caregiver of White Oak Manor and to hospice. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for William Frank McDaniel, Sr. C. Kenton Weatherman, age 88, of Rutherford, died Saturday at Hospice House of the Carolina Foothills. The family will receive friends from 2 until 3 o'clock today at Shingle Hollow Congregational Holiness Church. The funeral service will be at 3 o'clock today at Shingle Hollow Congregational Holiness Church, and burial will be in the church cemetery. Mike Mahan's funeral home and cremation service is in charge of the arrangements for C. Kenton Weatherman. Joanne Nealon Massey, age 82, of Forest City, passed away Saturday, April 16th at Rutherford Regional Medical Center in Rutherford. The family will hold a private service for Joanne at a later date, and Eggers Funeral Home of Cliffside is serving the family of Joanne Nealon Massey of Forest City. Terry Wild Turkey Thompson, age 62, of Spartanburg, passed away Friday, April 15th at his residence from a chronic medical condition. A memorial service will be conducted at 7 o'clock the 26th of April at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel, with Reverend Robbie Painter officiating. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Again, that's Terry Wild Turkey Thompson. Mary Lee Callahan Curtis, age 91, died Sunday, April 10th at Fairhaven of Bostic. The funeral service will be held at 3 o'clock Sunday, April 24th at Florence Baptist Church, with Reverend Tanya Garrison and Reverend Dr. Bobby Gann officiating. Family will receive friends from 2 until 3 in the narthex prior to the service. Burial will follow in the Cool Springs Cemetery. The Pageant and King Mortuary and Crematory is in charge of the arrangements for Mary Lee Callahan Curtis. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For complete information on these and others as they become available to us, can be heard this morning at 11:35 and then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon call-around report. We're unsure if we'll have the call-around report this afternoon. We're not sure. There is a Braves game this afternoon. Starts at 3:10 with the first pitch, and depending on how the game moves, whether or not there will be an afternoon report. If they get through the game, we will certainly do that and join the afternoon report. If it runs long, it may be tomorrow before we have another afternoon report. We play the game according to the Braves schedule, and sometimes those games run long, and sometimes they cut them up pretty short because they get them out real quick, and they change pitchers a lot. But anyway, we'll carry that game this afternoon, and then they're off on Thursday, and the Braves will be playing the Marlins for a 3-game stretch, and we'll have those actions for you right here. Bosses, get your secretary's name nominated to the Secretary of the Day. Get that into us real quick. But how the drawing will be next week. We find out who is going to be the lucky winners. Now, the Bill O'Reilly Morning Update is coming up now.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's AMAC.us. On this Wednesday, let's talk about money and your fair share. President Biden and Vice President Harris are both millionaires. Yet according to their just-released tax returns, they donated very little to charity last year. Harris and her husband made $1.6 million, but gave away just 1.2% of that to help people. The Bidens around 3%. So, as they say, what's up with that? The pay their fair share liberal mantra is tired and hypocritical. The king of that phrase, Senator Bernie Sanders, lives very well, largely because his wife received a huge payout from a bankrupt college in Vermont. Look it up and let me know how socialist that deal was. Of course, greedheads can be found in both parties, but only one demonizes the affluent in America for not paying their fair share. That would be liberal Democrats. So did Biden and Harris give a fair amount to charity? No is the answer. In the first half of this fiscal year, the federal government took in a record amount of tax revenue. Add inflation to that, and the American worker is getting hammered by the inept Biden administration. Will the people rise up in November? I believe so, because based on this ridiculous Biden stuff, it would only be fair. Now this. Did you know that cars today have more tech than the first spaceship? Something's guaranteed to break. That's why you need CarShield. When you need a repair, you can choose the mechanic, and CarShield gets the rest taken care of. Plans through CarShield even provide rental car options, roadside assistance, trip reimbursement, all at no extra cost. So get covered today and save 10%. Please go to carshield.com/bill or call 800-391-8888. A deductible may apply. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
100.9 FM. Walking down memory lane with classic oldies.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
There was probably no more paradoxical character than George Armstrong Custer. He was always in the front of his troops in battle. Away from the battlefield, he was a strutting peacock. He would kill a man without a thought, but he would risk his life for a stray animal. He had a soft spot for Indians, but he would wipe out any Indian that stood in his way to glory. In addition to all of this, Custer had political ambitions, all the way up to the presidency. In 1876, Grant was president. He was a great military man, but a poor president. The Bureau of Indian Affairs was particularly corrupt, with Indian agents becoming wealthy from starving the Indians. Grant was a Republican and Custer a Democrat, and there was no front-runner to replace Grant. On the sly, Custer secretly sent dirt to Eastern reporters. The Democrats pressed for hearings on the Indian Affairs problem. Knowing that Custer was writing articles against Grant using a pseudonym, they summoned Custer to testify. Using the same tactics he used in battle, on April 18, Custer charged headlong into the fray. Custer not only answered questions, he elaborated, even to the point of indicting Orville Grant, the president's brother. Although politics is war, it's a much more subtle war, and Custer was never known to be subtle. An angry President Grant relieved Custer of his command. Although Custer was able to beg and grovel before his superiors to get his command back, he surely learned that the Indians were easier to battle than politicians. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Congratulations to Jesse James Railroad Express, voted 2021 Best of Rutherford County hot dogs and hamburgers 5 years in a row.
Now it's 7:16 Wednesday morning. Let's head to the phones and find out what's been going on in the past 24 hours or so with the Sheriff's Department. And here to report today is Officer King. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How you doing today, Jim?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Doing just fine.
Good. Tell us what's been going on.
Yeah, in the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 186 calls for service. There were 14 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 180 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, the Cliffside Masonic Lodge on Old Main Street in Mooresboro reported a felony breaking and entering. Mark Roche from Old Church Street in Mooresboro reported a damage to property. Jack Cosby from Piney Mountain Church Road in Ballstick reported a felony larceny, the utility trailer taken in that incident. Preston Allen from East US 74 Business Highway in Ellenberg reported a felony breaking and entering and larceny. Robert Burgess from Doggett Road in Forest City reported a felony breaking and entering. James Robbins from Cove Road in Union Mills reported a felony larceny. And a Paul Cable from Wade Drive in Union Mills reported a felony breaking and entering and larceny. On our arrest reports, Benjamin Kennedy from Maple Creek Road in Rutherford was arrested and served with a warrant for assault on a female, received a domestic violence hold. Julius Davis, listed as homeless, was arrested and charged with breaking and entering, felony, assault on a government official, and resist obstruct delay of public officer. Received a $25,000 secured bond. Ivan Surratt from Padgett Avenue in Shelby was served with a show cause order. Lawrence Meadows from Walker Mill Road in Ballstick was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Tabitha Crawford from Spindale Street in Spindale was served with 2 true bills of indictment, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. And Angelina Harden from Edwards Road in Rutherford was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
Officer King, thank you very much for that report, and I hope you'll be safe out there today.
Thank you, Jim. You have a good one.
See ya. And we'll check the 911 Communication Center up next.
Hey folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherford.
Here's Kylie now. Kylie now reporting from 911 Communication Center. Good morning, Kylie.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. What's on the report today?
In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 communications has processed 434 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 58 for EMS, 186 for the Sheriff's Office, 59 for Forest City, 9 for Lake Lure, 15 for Rutherford, 46 for Spindale. Bills Creek responded to a motor vehicle accident. Ellenberg responded to a motor vehicle accident. Forest City responded to a residential fire alarm. Varsity also responded to a motor vehicle accident. Hillsborough responded to a motor vehicle accident. And Lake Lure responded to a tree down. And SDA responded to a residential fire alarm. And that's all we've had.
Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford-Ton.
Here's the Danieltown SDO report now with Ruby Taylor reporting. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's on your report today?
Fire department didn't have any calls, and on my birthday I've got Brandon Beeson, and hope we have a nice day, and the signs are in the knees today and tomorrow, Jim. That's all I got.
Thanks, Ruby. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
And we're heading up to Fairfield Mountains Fire District, Bills Creek Community. That's where Gary Wilson overlooks things for us. Gary, good morning.
You scraped that ice off your window this morning?
I had a little bit of ice on my windshield this morning, sure enough.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Sitting on about 35 degrees up here. Got a pretty good frost brewing out there. But hopefully that might be the last one of the year. So
let's hope so, at least for now.
Fall, anyway. It's going to get really nice rest of the week. Going to be up to low to mid-80s for the weekend. That'd be good. There's a chilly start this morning, but we've had a quiet night. No fire calls for us or Bills Creek. I think Lake Lure had one yesterday. And Bills Creek's got a yard sale coming up. Well, it's a yard sale and a plant sale. And they'll also be having breakfast items and lunch items there available. And that'll all go on from 7 a.m. Saturday morning up to about 3 p.m. I always have a big turnout for that. And hope everybody come out and support them and get your flowers ready. Just don't come out quite yet. Maybe wait a few days, but we'll have some warmer weather here pretty soon. And that's about all we got up here this morning, Jim. Everything else is going on pretty quietly.
You think it got cold enough last night to kill any of the vegetation that might have been out already, or it didn't get that cold, did it?
It could have. It could have been something to it. Yeah. Out last night, anything tender, especially. A lot of the early stuff that people have already got planted, like potatoes or peas or onions or lettuce, something like that, probably won't hurt them.
Yeah.
I can remember we were planting potatoes a couple of years when I was in my younger days, and we'd had some frost, and then plants turned dark looking, black looking, like they were done for, and then a few days later they're right back out again. So,
well, I hope it didn't kill anything.
Tomato plants, pepper plants, something like that, they won't stand it. The frost to get to them. So, hopefully that's the last one for the year, for the spring anyway.
Yeah. Well, Gary, I appreciate you, brother, and you have a good day up there, and be careful. And I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll talk to you then.
See you now. Bye bye. Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Buying locally is important to our economy here in Rutherford County, so think about when you shop local. Let's say good morning to DeVern Upton now over in Boston. See what's been happening over there. DeVern, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am doing good. Well,
good. Well, we have 39 degrees over here in Boston this morning. The train ran about 7 o'clock. The fire department had no calls, but we do want to thank our volunteer firefighters for all they do for us. Chase Ministry will be giving out food today starting at 9 o'clock to 10:30. Don't forget to stop by the bee supply store and check her items out. And May the 7th from 8 until at 1105 Bean Mills Road in Ellenberg, there will be a yard sale. And said had a lot of toys, electronics, and so on. And they also said for me to tell you that you would get a call today to be asked to sing at this yard sale. And that come from Chad Medford.
Oh, my goodness. Only if Chad will help me sing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him he'd have to sing if you come. But I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
You have a great day, too, DeVern. I'll see you next time.
Okay, thanks.
Bye. Bye. That's Boston Report. Nice and quiet, 26 minutes after 7. Braves play this afternoon. It's an afternoon game. We'll pick that Brave first pitch 3:10 this afternoon.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
27 after 7 o'clock, Wednesday hump day. Let's see what Bob Hodge is up to. Bob, you up and at 'em this morning?
Well, up and out on this hump day morning.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's a little chilly around the edges, but that sun's coming up bright, and it's going to warm up after a while.
Yeah, I had to have a little blanket on the toes last night. It was so chilly.
That's right. It sure was. It was a cool night last night, but it looked like the rest of the week's going to be warming up, so we'll get back to springtime weather here.
Yeah.
And Jim, with the fire department, we entered one vehicle accident call, 64 on Oscar Justice Road. And I want to say happy birthday to Shanna Irvin and Hunter Swinger this morning. And also, it'll be a blood drive now, April the 25th, and that'll be at the Relton Town Hall, and that's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And Jim, that's about all I have up here this morning. Things are running along quiet so far up here this morning, and may we all have a good day up here today.
I hope you do too, Bob, and stay careful up there, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. 28 after 7.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Here is Sue Price now reporting from Cherry Mountain Fire District. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning, Jim. How are you today?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Slept good last night? Had a good breakfast?
Well, I hadn't had breakfast yet.
Okay.
I'm just up. I'm not at 'em yet.
Okay, just up. Okay, well, that's all right.
Oh, well, let's see. This is one of those days I don't have any birthdays or anniversaries on either one of my calendars. But we hope anybody that's having a birthday or anniversary will have a real good day on their special day and enjoy it. In my announcements, the Piney Mountain Boys will be at Duncans Creek Church Sunday for the morning worship service. And the Golden Valley Crusaders will be in concert Sunday night. Well, Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. at the Ellenberg Community Church, and that's on Main Street in Ellenberg. No admission, but the love offering will be taken, and everyone's welcome. I'm sure it'll be a good concert. The Golden Valley Community Club will be having their regular monthly meeting April 25th at 7 p.m., and we'll have a potluck supper and then our meeting. And also the Golden Valley Community Club, we're going to be having a fundraiser. That'll be April 30th from 11 to 2. It'll be hamburgers and hot dogs and the trimmings and I'm sure desserts. And that'll be for donations only, so hope we have a good turnout for that. And so far, I guess that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here, looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
I hope you have one too, Sue, and be careful over there, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Cherry Mountain Fire District, nice and quiet this morning. You remember when, so you had personal service from your doctor, he or she would take a little time with you and answer your questions, and you don't feel like you're just another number being pushed into the next room. Well, you can still get that kind of service, personal service, quality primary health care, and urgent care service without a hassle. That's what you get from Brock Family Care. It's available to you and your family from Brock Family Care. Family medicine the way it ought to be. No insurance to deal with, general primary medical care, chronic disease prevention, management, urgent care, medication management, and so much more. They'll take time to talk with you about what's going on. Brock Family Care is a membership-based model where patients pay their primary care provider directly through monthly or annual fees rather than paying through an insurance provider. You can set up something on a monthly basis, just a minimum payment a month, that covers you, or you can go ahead and do it by the year, and that covers you. You don't have to hassle about whether or not the insurance is going to pay for it. Don't pay for it. You got to wait a while. Not accepting any forms of health insurance cuts out the hassles and allows for more personalized and affordable health care. It may be time to move into that health direction, right? For your family or your business. Call today for more information. Here's the number, 828-382-7782. Or go to the website, brockfamilycare.com. And good morning to you. How are you doing today?
I am doing fine today on this cool Wednesday morning up here in Shingle Hollow. It's a beautiful morning, but it is a cool one. It is 37 degrees.
A little different this morning. Yeah, a little different this morning than what we've had. But that's all right. It made us step a little higher getting in.
Right. Hug a little closer.
Hug a little closer. That's right.
Yeah. Well, this morning I haven't heard from the fire department, so I'm hoping that means they're all quiet, that they're not out on a call, that they're just getting warm this cool morning. I have an anniversary on Piney Knob's calendar for Dean and Renita Ashley. Hope they have a wonderful anniversary. I think it's 42 years for them, if I remember correctly. And on my personal birthday calendar, I have Miss Ashley Lovelace and Robin Green. I hope these ladies have a wonderful birthday, too. And White House Community Clubhouse, guess what? They want you to come out and enjoy their buffet breakfast this Saturday. I misspoke yesterday when I said children are $5. Actually, 12 and under eat for $3. So it's $7 for adults, $3 for children 12 and under. Well, excuse me, $3 for 5 to 12, 5 and under eat free. I'm going to get it right one day. And like I said, it's all-you-can-eat country breakfast. White House Community Clubhouse this Saturday the 23rd from 7 to 10 a.m. And that's all I have this morning.
All righty. Well,
I think I drank too much coffee this morning.
Yeah, well, can you drink too much?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can too after a point in time. It starts to get a little bitter after a while, but of course I make mine about 5:30, and then about 8:30 it's pretty strong. Sometimes it'll walk around the building 2 or 3 times, come back, jump in my cup. It's so strong, but that's okay. Got to do something to get through the mornings, right?
And you do a good job of it, Jim. So you just keep drinking that strong coffee.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was fishing for a good compliment.
You have a wonderful day, Jim. You know that you are a wonderful asset to our community. We all just love you.
Well, I appreciate that.
And
thank you.
I'll talk to you tomorrow, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Y'all stay safe.
You have a wonderful day. I'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That's Tina White up in Shingle Hollow community. 7:33 now, and we're going up to Union Mills in just a moment. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Now up the hill we go to Union Mills, and Brenda Kelly is waiting for us with a big smile. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday morning?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well.
I am. The birds are singing, the sun's up, and it's going to be a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
I think you're right. Absolutely right. We just sometimes have to search for the good points, but they're always there.
That's right. I was here working on a puzzle earlier, and I heard the little bird when it got out of its nest here under the kitchen window, and it was just a singing. It was still dark. I said, bless your heart. But it's good to hear. Well, let's see. I've got 30 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays, any anniversaries. But I had a call from Chad Medford, and he asked me to announce this May the 7th, 8 a.m. until multifamily yard sale, toys, electronic, clothes, something for everyone. This is at 1105 Baines Mill Road, Ellenberg. And he said, please, no early birds. And then Saturday, April the 30th, at the Union Mills Learning Center, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., springtime at the Mills vendor event. Over 60 vendors will be on site with various crafts and items. No admission, and raffle tickets available for sale. And I wanted to ask you, who's that old man that plays that music in the brew room every morning you was talking about?
I don't know who that guy is. He just
He does a good job, though, don't he?
He slips in here sometimes on me and surprises me.
But he does a fine job.
Well, I'll pass that word to him.
They ought to up his pay.
We'll take that under advisement with the board of directors.
I got a big laugh out of that when you said, this old man in here. But you do a fine job, and we appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
And so far, I guess that's all I got going on up here.
Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate it. You enjoy your day, wonderfully day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Okay, you go check on Luther.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Catch you later.
Brenda Keller reporting in this morning from Union Mills. Friends of the NRA event coming up May 10th, Trying to Question Center International Boulevard in Mill Spring at 5:30. And Dale Ramsey would love for you to come, and he's got information on that. You can get you a ticket, or you sponsor it, or a lot of different things to help you enjoy that event better. Friends of the NRA, if you believe in the NRA, and these are friends of the NRA, call Dale Ramsey. Here's the phone number, 429-0392, 429-0392, and the cutoff is May 1st for that, so please get your order in quickly if you'd like to have a ticket, be a part of that. All right, we're going over to Ellensboro now and talk with Mr. Luther Gilligan. Luther Gilligan, good morning.
Good morning, you too. Nice morning down here.
Are you around with a bunch of nice people?
I'm with a group of nice people.
Very good. Yeah, I don't like you associate with nasty people.
No, they all behave themselves.
Good.
Do not have chastise them.
VIN number's probably stacked somewhere up around.
I hear somebody talking over there.
Yeah, somebody. Let me know they're still here.
Well, it might be there too.
But things are quiet. This one fire department, you see, they had 3 medical calls, 1 accident. Other than that, they quiet this morning. Nothing going on with them. So they're going on anywhere there. Everybody's just trying to get back, get the middle of the weekend. So they start downhill. So, Jim, you have a great day out there, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Luther. Take care of things, and I'll see you.
Take care now.
Bye. Well, the background noise there in Ellenberg. A lot of folks sitting around watching Luther work. 7:40, it's time for birthdays and anniversaries now for this 20th day of April. April 20th. If you're having a birthday, let us know about it. And let's celebrate. 287-3356 is the phone number, 287-3356, and we'll do birthdays and anniversaries. That's coming right up.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Breakfast time is here, and Granny B's open. They start serving breakfast at 6:30, Tuesday through Saturday, 6:30 until about 11, and you can order your breakfast the way you like it, the way you want your eggs, the way you want your liver mush, your bacon, your sausage, and maybe even some pancakes, and you always know that freshly made coffee is outstanding to go with any breakfast if you're a coffee drinker. And if you like those delicious daylight donuts, get you one of those for a breakfast to take some to work with you. Always good food, always good folks to deal with, always good place to have a meal. That's Granny B's in Spindale, right on Main Street, right next to the Shake Shop there in Spindale. Have a breakfast and tell them I sent you over there. 7:42 right now. Let's see if we can hit the theme song right.
Happy birthday.
Nobody celebrating locally that wanted to admit it, but we have birthdays like 1949 birth of Jessica Lange. She's an actress. 1951, Luther Vandross, singer. He died over in 2005. And Joey Lawrence is an actor. He's born 1976. Events on this day: 1611, first known performance of Shakespeare's play Macbeth was performed. 1611. 1912, Fenway Park officially opened. 1982, Atlanta Braves became first team to win first 12 games of the season. 1986, Michael Jordan set NBA playoff record with 63 points in one game. 1997, first baseball game in Hawaii. This is National Banana Day. I can go that. National Cheddar Fries Day. I can go that. National Lookalike Day. I don't know about that part now. But it's National Pineapple Upside Down Cake. I can go that too. So now you're up to date on this date in history here on WCAB in Rutherford. Stand by. Keys to Confident Living coming up in just a few.
During World War II, a pastor was giving his annual report to his congregation. The congregation was shocked to hear him say that 9 members of their parish had died at sea during the last year. The people were not aware of this great tragedy. When asked about his report, the pastor said, "Well, we were asked to pray for 11 persons going out to sea, and only 2 asked me to give thanks for a safe return. So I assumed that the other 9 were drowned. We have reason to question the pastor's manner of getting his point across, but it is true that many of us are more prone to request help than to be thankful for it afterwards. My brother-in-law feels that it is only right to give thanks for the same length of time that he has been praying for something. In other words, if he has been praying for something for 2 months, he would still be telling God thanks 2 months after he had received his request. I think the suggestion has merit. Have there been great blessings that have come to you either from the hand of another or from God, and you could have expressed greater thanks? If so, why not today write a note, make a phone call, or spend some time in prayer and be thankful for all of those who went to sea and returned? Let's be a growing part of the Grateful Hearts Club. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living.
100.9 FM. Walking down
From ABC News, I'm Derek Dennis. A new COVID-19 subvariant called BA12.1 has shown up. It's a descendant of the previous BA2 subvariant and is now accounting for nearly a fifth of new COVID cases in the U.S., just as the national transportation mask mandate is canceled.
A federal judge in Florida overturning the CDC's travel mask mandate. Right now, the infection rates are climbing across 33 states. And while Amtrak and rideshare services like Uber and Lyft have all just dropped their mask rules, several major cities like New York, Philadelphia, and San Francisco still require them on some public transit, resulting in passengers forced to wear masks at airports, but not on the actual planes.
ABC's Ike Ajachi. Serious fighting in Ukraine's eastern Donbas region, with Russia looking to take the port city of Mariupol. A major steel plant is under attack, with Ukrainian forces refusing to surrender. Ukraine's representative to the United Nations telling the Security Council Russians are committing unspeakable atrocities.
The Russian forces are attacking the Ukrainian cities and villages in the east of the country, trying to raze them to the ground and making no differentiation between military and civilians.
It is day 56 of the war. Arizona's so-called tunnel fire near Flagstaff is raging out of control, 0% contained.
Not only did the extreme winds drive the flames forward, they prevented an aerial assault on the fire, and even on the ground, says Coconino County Sheriff Jim Driscoll.
The fire was moving so fast, many of those officers were in harm's way themselves.
For people living in the path of the fire, a desperate rush to escape.
We had 45 minutes, and all I grabbed was animals and a laundry bag of dirty clothes.
The fire service says 24 structures have been destroyed. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The sweet sound of jazz. Well, it's on again in New Orleans schools. An outdated law repealed by the school board. You're listening to ABC News.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
In court in South Carolina, a suspect in one of the mass shootings from the Easter weekend.
Sunday, 22-year-old Joanne Price was released on bond after being charged with unlawful possession of a handgun. Tuesday, attempted murder and a variety of other charges were added, and a judge ordered him held without bond. 9 people were shot, several others injured. Price's attorney says it was self-defense.
Had my client not responded, he did.
Police are still searching for a third suspect. Tony Marino, ABC News, Charlotte.
More than half of the country's governors now committing resources to the southern border in Arizona and Texas.
26 states, all with Republican governors, are now signing on to a plan to send reinforcements to the border. Law enforcement and intelligence sharing. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey announcing the creation of the American Governors Border Strike Force.
This is not an immigration crisis. This is a border security crisis.
The strike force is being put together as a COVID-era Title 42 is set to end in a few weeks, and there could be an influx of migrants at the border. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Days before his trial was supposed to start, prosecutors in Colorado have dropped the charges against a man accused in the murder of his wife. The DA says investigators need more time to find Suzanne Morphew's remains. She vanished on Mother's Day in 2020. Prosecutors leaving the door open to refile charges later against Barry Morphew. This is ABC News.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
I'm Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Step back to the 1940s when you step inside Dive Bombers Antiques and the Chowhound Cafe. That's a new business featuring vintage memorabilia from all branches of our military. They carry all sizes of plaques and signs, framed pictures, collectible toys from that era, dishes, furniture, books, and so much more. After browsing through all the gifts, be sure to stop into the Chowhound for a delicious hot dog, kielbasa, or smoked sausage prepared by Jesse James. He now has 2 hot dog locations, Railroad Avenue and 126 Park Lane Plaza in Rutherford. They are open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 5. Call them at 828-447-5400. That's the Dive Bombers Vintage Antiques and the Chowhound Cafe.
Frost advisory and freeze warning set to expire. We are going to see warming temperatures for the afternoon. Highs will head into the mid-60s and lower 70s with a lot of sunshine. It's not going to be as windy as it was yesterday, and tonight it's not going to be as cold as it was last night. We will see temperatures tonight fall into the low to mid-40s with a lot more sunshine tomorrow and warmer air building in. Highs will reach the low to upper 70s, even the lower 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And we have 35 degrees currently here at WCAB. We started out at 41 and dropped down to 35. We'll be climbing back up till about 67 for a daytime high today. And it's going to be a beautiful day in the neighborhood, mostly sunny all day today. I can handle that. It's a good day also to go out to Wayne's Lunchbox for lunch. Wayne Rollins, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I am doing great on this beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to see this sun. I'm hoping we get out of this old wind and rain for a few weeks.
Yeah, I think we're going to it pretty soon. It'll be summertime, and folks can get out and walk up and down the park and stop. They walk up the trail there and they step over there to your place and have lunch.
It's just, you can park your bike, ride your bike over, whatever. We have a lot of people that actually do that. They'll come up through there and they'll stop and come across the road and park their bikes or just stop in some, especially in the evening time, around 1 o'clock or 1:30 when they're on there, and stop in and get a cup of ice cream or, whatever on their way back. I guess they're going back up the trail going that way. So they have a lot of people that do stop in. So, drop on in there. We'll give you a cup of ice cream or give you just a big old glass of sweet tea.
Hey, now you're talking. Today's Wednesday. Do I know that this is Chicken Pie Day today?
I think you do, Jim. I think we talk about this on Wednesdays, and I think you look forward to Chicken Pie Day.
Oh,
so,
man, yeah.
Chicken Pie Day is always a good day. We do chicken pie. Granted, we make it homemade, put our crust on it, and everything's made with all white meat chicken. So it's a really good dish to have. A lot of people love it. They come out and get it. Sometimes they'll get a couple orders and take home for supper too. So. We usually have a good bit of it. So that today, we also got made some broccoli casserole. We're going to run it today with the chicken pie. So that's a combo there for sure. What else we got today? We got potato salad. Of course, you can always get baked ham. And one of the biggest sellers we've been doing here lately is like a ham and cheese croissant, or you can do a turkey and cheese croissant. And we put that thing on the grill and heat it up, and you can put different types of cheeses on it, too. We got Swiss cheese, provolone cheese, pepper jack. So hot ham and cheese is pretty good. They'll get that and then get a little side salad. And you got a good lunch right there. So that's something they can come out and give it a try, too, because we got a lot of different things. A lot of people think it's just hot dogs and hamburgers, but, now we do the meats and vegetables. And we'll always have, hamburger steaks. We got fried flounder. We always run like cream potatoes, green beans, fried okra, corn. So if you don't want that, then you got the hamburgers and hot dogs. And then, of course, we got some big chef salads that you can get with turkey and ham, or you can get grilled chicken, or you can get our calabash chicken put on top of it. So a lot of things, got a little bit of stuff for everybody. I mean, it's not just a little hamburger hot dog joint. We can pretty much cover you on any basis as far as food goes for lunch.
Wayne, you've been doing this cooking a long time. You about got this thing knocked now. You know exactly what you're doing.
I've about learned some stuff over the years. It's so crazy. We was just talking about that the other day. I just turned 50 last week, and when I started over at Dockside, and I know that'll take some people back in time right now. That's Big Dave's over there, but back in the day, in the early 80s, it was Dockside Seafood. and I actually started working there about 2 weeks before I turned 15 to get my worker's permit. Old Don Calabacas, he was a great guy that owned that restaurant there, and he's gone on and passed away now, but he was a good mentor for like me and Dave Linder and Greg Hayes, and we had a team back in the day over there. But
3 of the best.
Yeah, I've been doing this stuff for seems like forever, which I guess I've done it longer than I haven't done it. I'll put it that way.
Wayne, someone called the other day. They were relatively new to the area. They'd called and heard us talking on the radio, and she was a little unfamiliar with the area because she hadn't been here long. But she wanted to know exactly how to get to your place. Now, I gave her directions, but if somebody was asking you that other than the specific number of the place, how would you describe who you are?
Well, I try to tell them, too, if you're going out of Spindale on Main Street going toward Far City, I basically say it's the last light going out of town. That's what I usually say back before that. But we're right beside the Asian Wok, too. A lot of people know the Asian Wok. It's a restaurant right there beside them. I mean, they've got good Chinese food in there. And then, of course, it's just right out of town is what I try to tell them. Because it's sort of a unique place, and it's a little place in a hole that, you know, if you ain't looking, you'll drive right past it unless you see the crowd of people there. So it's just a little place there, and it's without just giving them the specific number, it's sort of hard to tell them. But I try to tell them if you get past the last light in Spindale, you've gone too far.
And close to the Main Street Baptist Church there, not too far from that.
Yeah, we're right below the Main Street Baptist Church, and I guess that's the main one you could say down there on the left past the Main Street Baptist Church. So that's a good point of reference to tell them too. So that's a good thing.
Or we could just tell them start smelling the good food, and they'll bring you right to it.
Follow the crowd,
That's
I guess
right.
is what you could say. Yeah.
Well, Wayne, I hope you have a wonderful day over there. I know you're getting ready for lunch, and it's always a good one on Wednesdays every day. Monday, you say you're over Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday from 11 to 2. Come on by and check us out. If you need anything for catering or anything, that's why we do the 11 to 2, so we can do caterings and stuff on the evening. So, you know, give us a call if you got some kind of birthday or any kind of event coming up. I can pretty much cater anything you need as far as just a backyard barbecue, or if you want to do a sit-down dinner at your wedding or birthday party or whatever, just give us a call. We've got a catering menu there at the restaurant. You can stop by and pick it up and take a look at it, and we can create you a menu, and we can pretty much cover you on all bases when it comes to catering.
Have a good day, my friend.
All right, Jim, you too, buddy. Thank you.
Bye. Wayne Rollins there at Wayne's Lunchbox.
Hello, I'm Aaron Ellenberg, candidate for sheriff for Rutherford County. I was born and raised in the Gilkey community of Rutherford County. I am a graduate of RS Central High School and currently serving on the RS Central High School Improvement Committee. For over 22 years, I have served the citizens of Rutherford County in various sworn law enforcement roles, including being a North Carolina law enforcement instructor since 2008. I have built my career on a strong foundation of honor, integrity, service, faith, and family. I pledge to continue that. As your next sheriff of Rutherford County, we can make a difference together, paid for by committee to elect Ellenberg sheriff.
Some of the news from here and there from the Daily Courier this story. Property located at the corner of East Main Street and Center Street in Spindale is being purchased by the town of Spindale. The Spindale Town Council gave final approval at the council meeting Monday night. The Spindale Car Wash has been located at that site for decades. Recently, the owner approached the town about possibly buying it. The town is buying the property at a cost of $75,000. Combined with legal and other fees, the total cost to the town is $77,500, which will come from the town's fund balance. The property is adjacent to property already owned by the town, where the police and fire departments and town hall are located. No specific plans are yet in place for the new parcel. Scott Weber, the town manager, said, "We don't have a specific plan at the time, but having the property will provide the town with much greater flexibility when it comes to future expanding of the place." Spindale Mayor Mickey Bland also agreed. He noted that town administrative offices are in great need of additional space, and as are the police and fire department fire departments in that area. Also, the Spindale is moving forward with the skate park and pump track. They move a little closer to securing funding for that ambitious plan to create a state-of-the-art skate park and pump track. The Spindale Town Council gave final approval for the basic facts and assurance portion of its grant application to the North Carolina Parks and Recreation Trust Fund at the council meeting Monday night. Town leaders are hoping to secure as much as $425,000 in funding for that skate park portion of the overall project. The recreational facility will be located near the intersection of East Main and Stewart Streets on 1.6 acres of land donated by the Spindale United Methodist Church. It is directly adjacent to the Thermal Belt Rail Trail. The town has close to $900,000 in place for the project, which is expected to cost more than $1.6 million. So there you go. Building growing in this area by leaps and bounds. More good news coming to our area. Just stand by, folks. There are more announcements coming real soon in terms of things that are happening. It's 50 minutes after 8 o'clock. The Sheriff's Report with Officer King is coming up here in just a few.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID rapid 19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
Smith's Drugs of Forest City is offering the flu vaccines. You can walk in Monday through Friday or by appointment only on Saturdays. The Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers, if you need assistance registering your recall devices, you can call the Home Medical Department at 245-4591. And Smith's Drugs has a large selection of in-stock mastectomy bras, now half price. So come by our Home Equipment Department on West Main Street in Forest City. Smith's Drugs, 245-4591.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
Tomorrow morning, as we continue our interviews with the sheriff's candidates that are seeking office, tomorrow morning Theo will be here in the Blue Room with me at 8:30 to talk about his candidacy, and we'll have that one tomorrow morning. You know, sometimes the good guys win one. A story here from a professor that won a settlement after refusing to use the student's preferred pronoun. The school... Professor called him Mr., referred to him, and the professor used to do that, Mr. whatever last name is, and he did that, and so the student went up to him and protested because he said he was not a sir or ma'am, he was a transsexual. It started back in January 2018 when Professor Merriweather responded to a student's question during a political philosophy class by saying, "Yes, sir. It's common for professors to address students with gender-specific language of this sort, sir, ma'am, miss. These are titles of respect and courtesy. They're especially popular in some parts of the country. Referring to students with proper titles can elevate classroom dialogue. When I was going through college, they referred to me as, yes, sir, Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop, would you respond to this? It's just a common courtesy thing to elevate the student. I've felt like to elevate the student to the point of thinking, you're now an adult. Now it's time to start acting like an adult." But this student approached Mr. Merriweather after the class. The student identified to Mr. Merriweather as a transgender. The student demanded to be referred to as a woman in the future and to be addressed with feminine titles and pronouns. Well, Merriweather didn't agree to the student's request. He cited his devout Christian convictions, at which point court documents say the student became belligerent and told the professor that he would be fired. Well, the student filed a complaint with the university. Shawnee State launched an investigation. The university decided that Merriweather created a hostile environment for the student by not using the student's preferred pronouns. They placed a written warning on Merriweather's personnel file. The warning said further corrective action would be taken if something similar were to occur in the future. Now get this picture. Professor just said sir to this man, woman, and he protested. And so now they're saying he was disruptive. Yeah, said because he was doing the right thing. But anyway, it went on to court, and the professor won his case. The settlement, he won the settlement after refusing to use the student's preferred pronoun. So that's one of the wins for the good guys.
Don't vote for the same people over and over again expecting a different result. I'm Patsy Kirkland, and I'm running for clerk of court. It's time for a change. No more sitting on the sidelines and allowing poor service, poor management, and dishonesty to plague our office. I've worked in the clerk's office as an assistant clerk. With my years of service, attention to detail, knowledge, skills, and ability, I will make it better. Elect a clerk you can trust. Vote Patsy Kirkland for clerk of court. Paid for by the committee to elect Patsy Kirkland for clerk.
Next week, we will be drawing for the Secretary of the Week. Those of you who have nominated your secretaries, we'll have that drawing, and we'll have let you know who that is. We'll take them out to lunch on Friday if they can go. So, bosses, if you have not yet done that, get that into us because the drawing is coming up next week. Officer King was with us earlier this morning on the 7 o'clock hour doing the caller in report. He gave us the report from the Sheriff's Department. We always try to record those and play them back at this time for those of you who missed it earlier. So now here is Officer King with that report.
Yeah, in the past 24 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 186 calls for service. There were 14 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 180 people incarcerated. On our incident reports, the Cliffside Masonic Lodge on Old Main Street in Mooresboro reported a felony breaking and entering. Mark Roche from Old Church Street in Mooresboro reported a damage to property. Jack Cosby from Piney Mountain Church Road in Ballstick reported a felony larceny, the utility trailer taken in that incident. Preston Allen from East US 74 Business Highway in Ellenberg reported a felony breaking and entering and larceny. Robert Burgess from Doggett Road in Forest City reported a felony breaking and entering. James Robbins from Cove Road in Union Mills reported a felony larceny. And a Paul Cable from Wade Drive in Union Mills reported a felony breaking and entering and larceny. On our arrest reports, Benjamin Kennedy from Maple Creek Road in Rutherford was arrested and served with a warrant for assault on a female, received a domestic violence hold. Julius Davis, listed as homeless, was arrested and charged with breaking and entering, felony, assault on a government official, and resist, obstruct, delay a public officer. Received a $25,000 secured bond. Ivan Surratt from Padgett Avenue in Shelby was served with a show cause order. Lawrence Meadows from Walker Mill Road in Ballstick was served with 2 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 unsecured bond. Tabitha Crawford from Spindale Street in Spindale was served with 2 true bills of indictment, received a $10,000 unsecured bond. And Angelina Harden from Edwards Road in Rutherford was served with 3 counts of failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. That's all we have for today.
Get the first weather forecast at 6:05 here on 100.9 FM 590 AM WCAB Rutherford.
Zach, we start with NBA playoff action and Jimmy Butler scoring a playoff career-high 45 that included a personal 7-0 run in the final moments as the top-seeded Miami Heat held off the Atlanta Hawks 115-105 to take a 2-0 lead in their Eastern Conference first-round series. John Morant had 23 points and handed out 10 helpers as the Memphis Grizzlies looked more like the team that posted the NBA's second-best record. They routed Minnesota 124-96 to even their first-round Western Conference series with the Timberwolves at 1 game each.
It was good to get that win. Obviously, if you get a triple-double, it's hard to do it in this league, so that's special as well. But, the win is, the most important thing, and, we got that.
Game 3 is Thursday night in Minneapolis. In Phoenix, the Pelicans earned their first playoff win since 2018. Brandon Ingram scored 37 points. C.J. McCollum added 23, and the Pelicans beat the top-seeded Suns 125-114 in Game 2 to even their series at Game All. Not only did the Suns lose the game, but they're unsure about the health of All-Star guard Devin Booker. He was spectacular in the first half, including draining a fadeaway shot at the end of the first. His backward momentum dropping him into the first row of the floor seats where he exchanged a fist bump with a baby.
The degree of difficulty on that off the charts. But more importantly, how about the little fist bump to the Bambino?
To the ice now, where the New York Rangers got a shutout win again, this time against the Jets at Madison Square Garden. Ryan Strome scored twice. He says they've played well in their 3-game shutout streak.
Oh, no, I think guys are buying in pretty good, and I think we understand what it takes to win right now, and obviously 3 straight games is pretty impressive.
The win moves the Rangers back into a tie in points with the Hurricanes atop the Metro Division. They've got 50 wins, one more than Carolina's 49, but the Canes have the edge over New York by virtue of the tiebreaker, which is wins in regulation. And Carolina, they remain the top team in the Metro. This is NCN Sports.
Science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM, is an important part of instruction in North Carolina, but not all schools can provide it. NC Green Power is a nonprofit promoting STEM education through its Solar Plus Schools grant program. Donations to the program help provide training for teachers and hands-on activities for students. Plus, schools save on energy costs with an educational solar array. Help students by supporting Solar Plus Schools today. Visit ncgreenpower.org. Learn more and donate to benefit STEM education. ncgreenpower.org.
Just like a seatbelt, the COVID-19 vaccine protects you from hospitalization and death. If you get in a car accident, you want your seatbelt. And if you get COVID, you want your booster.
Vaccines keep us safe and healthy. They're here to protect all of us from the spread of COVID-19.
Please stay up to date on your COVID-19 vaccines.
So the only time you'll need to see me is for a regular checkup.
Everyone 5 and older can get a COVID-19 vaccine. Visit myspot.nc.gov.
The owner of the Carolina Panthers said the team is terminating an agreement with the city of Rock Hill, South Carolina, to build a training facility there, even though construction began in 2020 on the project and was stalled earlier this spring. David Tepper's development company said it was prepared to sit down with the city and other interested parties to discuss the significant challenges ahead. York County Economic Development Director David Swenson telling WRHI Radio in Rock Hill that is a positive sign.
Getting that feedback from Carolina Panthers, since there was communication from the city and the county about interest to look at a new way to structure the deal.
There has been an ongoing dispute between the city of Rock Hill and the Panthers over funding infrastructure for the project. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Frost advisory and freeze warning set to expire. We are going to see warming temperatures for the afternoon. Highs will head into the mid-60s and lower 70s with a lot of sunshine. It's not going to be as windy as it was yesterday, and tonight it's not going to be as cold as it was last night. We will see temperatures tonight fall into the low to mid-40s with a lot more sunshine tomorrow and warmer air building in. Highs will reach the low to upper 70s, even the lower 80s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It is a beautiful day. The sun is shining, and it's 39 degrees currently, warming up very nicely to about 67 with some wind gusts to about 11 miles per hour today. It's another great getting up morning here in the foothills. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherford, 100.9 FM, 590 AM, serving the foothills of the Carolinas. It's time now for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program this morning is Mark Doyle.
Good morning, Rutherford County. This is Mark Doyle with you. Not just Rutherford County, for those that listen on our regular programs on our website from all over, we just wanted to welcome you this morning also. have some things I wanted to share with you. Even this morning, God was speaking to my heart, and on the way here to do the radio program, and I was thinking, you hear, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-choice, I'm pro-Israel, I'm pro-Palestinian, and the list goes on, and I just thought, I'm pro-God. Whatever God says, I'm pro-God. I'm pro whatever God says about anything. And I believe in God, and I believe Jesus is the Son of God, and I believe that he died for me. I believe that the Bible is the Word of God. And since I believe those things, I believe what God says in the Bible are truth, and they're for the time they were written, and they're for us today. And the scriptures are very clear and give us many warnings. I mean, God always warns his people. He always tells them before what he's going to do, that he's going to do it. And I grew up, when I was much younger, hearing a lot about the last days. And it's always been in my thinking, always. It was something that was, brought to me when I was young, that in the last days, these things will happen. And in the last days, there'll be the mark of the beast. And in the last days, everyone will go with, this one world government. And these things, as far back as I can remember, maybe junior high school, these were the periods of times in my life that I heard about them. They're always there before me. And I remember when I was young and first out of college, and I went and got work in New York City. I lived there for about 5 years. And in New York City, it's you walk down tunnels of skyscrapers. It's a very ominous, very impressive place. Towers, tunnels of towers everywhere you go, and there's a rumble there all the time. And I was just starting off in life with my career and all those, but those scriptures and those things were always before me, and I always thought about those last days and what that will be like, and how will it be that everyone would go with this one world government and take this, as the Bible calls it, this mark of the beast. And I would read the scriptures about Babylon falling, and I would always think, when I lived in New York City, it's got to be New York City. And I had a friend at church, her name was Sophia, and she said, no, it's the Catholic Church. And another one said, no, it's this. And it's not actually a Babylon. It's not a place. It's the whole, money system of the world. There were so many things, but when I was in New York City, I always felt it was New York City, because when you read those scriptures about what that last days Babylon's like, it fit the bill, as they say. You could check off everything on that list, and it was the place. And that was always before me, and I always remember that. That was, through the years, I'll think about that, about what that felt like on the inside of me when I walked to work or get on the subway and feel that strong feeling of that Babylon is going to fall one day. And God warns us as Christians that this is going to happen. And one day the world's going to go a direction that is anti-Christ. And we're seeing that more and more every day. I think weekly I get something, somebody sends me some text or some link to something that says, they're developing this chip that can go inside your body, and it works best in the palm of your hand or the top of your hand, and they'll be able to use that rather than a credit card. No one can steal your identity, and they'll be able to monitor your temperature, and all kinds of things like that are happening this day and hour. So we can't dismiss those things. And for me, it always brings me back to those early days in my walk with Jesus and learning about Jesus and the warnings of God that have come to us. And it's just been before me a lot these days. And I heard that a lot lately in my heart. Babylon is falling. Babylon's going to fall. And this I know, when it falls, whether it's New York City or the whole commerce money system of this world or whatever it is, whoever's a part of it will go down with it. And I don't want that to be me, and you don't want that to be you. We want to be found in Jesus. No matter what's happening, we want it to be our hearts are right with God, and we can walk through whatever happens in the world. We don't have to be swayed by it, go with it. And to me, that's very important that we have that cry in our heart, because if we cry out to Jesus with our whole heart and ask Jesus, I want to be ready. I want to be found in you. I don't want to go with the way of the world. Then God will answer that prayer and he'll help us. And he'll show us in our hearts areas that we still have common ground with the way of the world, the way of the devil, the way of love of money. And I began to think about that a lot these days. And there's some verses in our little Bible time this morning that I want to go over with you and let Jesus, speak to your heart with what he says in the Word of God. So I want to start with in Philippians. We learn about Paul and the work that God did in Paul's heart. In Philippians chapter 4, in verse 11, it says, Paul says that I am not implying that I was in any way in personal want, for I have learned how to be content, satisfied to the point where I am not disturbed or disquieted in whatever state I'm in. He learned how to be content. And I remember in those days in New York, there's times I'd be down to $5 or $10. That's all I had. All my money went to rent, and I ate pizza. It was my staple of my diet in those days. And I remember this was something that was the first time that God really began to speak to me and deal with my heart about this, because I wouldn't spend that last $10, because if I spent that last $10, then I would be broke. I'd have no money, but at least I had $10. And he showed me how ridiculous that was, because he said, Mark, why won't you spend that $10? Because I don't have any money. He said, well, I'll give you more. I'll give you what you need. But that fear of not having any money was more real to me than trusting in Jesus. That was a very real thing working to me in those days. And it's so ridiculous to me now when I look back at it. But, it could be for you $100,000. It could be $1 million. It's still, the point is, what do you put your trust in? Is it I have money or I don't have money? And that was the beginning of where God began to do with my heart, because as soon as I would spend that $10, other money would come in supernaturally, some way, a bonus, a raise. Someone would walk up to me, something would work out, and God always provided. He never caused me to lack. I always had food. I always was able to pay my rent. I always had what I needed. There was all the things that I wanted, and that's where I would crank into those feelings and that world system. But for the most part, if I trusted Jesus, he would provide for me everything I needed, and then he would begin to give me the secret desires of my heart and provide the things that I really, with things that I wanted, just like any son would ask their dad, I really would like a new this or a new that. And God would always bring it. And so, but that was such an important point in my life over such a little thing where I began to learn to be content. Now, did I get it all at that point? No. It was a work and it was a process. But there's something here in verse 12. It says, I know how to be abased and I live humbly in straitened circumstances. And I know also how to enjoy plenty and live in abundance. I have learned in any and all circumstances the secret of facing every situation. That's a mature Christian right there. And you think about your own life, and I think about my own life. Do I, in any circumstances, have I learned the secret of facing everything? Or do I get worked up? Do I get upset? Do I get worried? Do I give to fear? Some of the things and reports I've seen lately about food shortages and all kinds of things that could possibly happen. What will I do? What will you do if that happens? I saw something recently where it says you need to have at least 3 weeks of food saved up and 2 weeks of cash ready. And I thought, okay, let's say you do that. Let's say you buy double of everything and you stock up and you have everything that will last for 2 to 3 weeks. And then what if this calamity happens that they're all saying is going to happen? Then what do you do? At some point, you've got to learn to trust and believe in God, or you will take that mark of that beast. That God says that once you do that, there's no repentance for it. You are marked for hell. And that's what the Bible warns. And I believe that's true. And I believe God warns us beforehand what is going to happen. He always does that. There's something they do in Israel when they're being bombed by Hamas into key spots in Israel. They're able to locate where those bombs, those rockets are coming from, and they send in planes and they drop flyers saying, we are going to bomb this building, so you need to get out. They have everyone's cell phone. They send text messages to everyone's cell phone to let them know, we're going to bomb that building where those rockets are coming at us. And so everybody clears out, and then they bomb that building. And they'll say that on the news, but how scriptural is that? How God is that? That's what God does. He lets us know beforehand, this is going to happen. This is going to happen, and you need your heart ready, and you need to get out of this world system, and you need to get out of this love of money and this trust in, this world system, and learn how to believe and trust Jesus no matter what the circumstances are. So we've all had them in our lives, and we've all had training ground, but we see in the days ahead that we need to be really applying these things in our life. And so Paul learned in any and all circumstances the secret of facing every situation. And in other words, whether I abased or abound, if you have nothing, you can barely get by, you learn to be at peace and trust God, or whether you have plenty, you don't just squander it and spend it foolishly. You inquire of God and do with what God blesses you with, the way God wants you to do it. And in that, you always have peace. You're always content. You're always happy. And that's a good way to live, don't you think? Isn't that a better way than to be tossed to and fro with whatever's going on? He said in verse 13, I have strength for all things in Christ who empowers me. That's what we want working in our hearts. And so in Hebrews, it says, in chapter 13, verse 5, it says, let your character, your moral disposition be free from the love of money. God wants us as Christians, as believers in Jesus, to be free from the love of money. It says, including greed, avarice, lust, and craving for earthly possessions. And be satisfied with your present circumstances and with what you have. For God himself has said, now listen to this, God himself has said, I will not in any way fail you, nor give you up, nor leave you without support. I will not in any degree leave you helpless, nor forsake, nor let you down, relax my hold on you, assuredly not. I mean, what a promise from God, that no matter what lies ahead, that we can trust God. That's the deep work that we want in our heart. But I will not be able to do that if I put my trust in money. If I love money, if I can just get enough money and save enough money, and therefore I'm ready for whatever happens. I mean, listen, money can become devaluated in a moment. It can be worth nothing in a moment. And all you have to do is read history, and you'll see that's true. And so it's a false god to put your trust in. And we've all done it to a measure, but we need to stop doing it. And we need to start really letting Jesus change our hearts so that our hearts are prepared for whatever lies ahead. And of course, it could be 10 years, 20 years before this happened, or it could be next week. We don't know. But all we know is we want to be ready. That's the best way. It's just to always be ready, serving Jesus with all our heart, all the days of our life. In 1 Timothy, Paul warns Timothy, chapter 6, verse 9, he says, but those who crave to be rich fall into temptation. Isn't that the condition of our generation? Those who crave to be rich fall into temptation. When I was younger, there was a TV program called Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. It came on once a week, and all it was a program to see the wealth and all the riches of people that had that more than they knew what to do with, and how they lived their lives. And you sat there in front of that TV and just took it in and looked at your own life and thought, I don't have any of those things. And it kept pumping our whole generation, our whole culture with this is the best way to live. This is what how the other half lives, and you don't live that way. And it worked that in our hearts at that time, and how much more so is it now? I mean, some of the wealthiest people around are people that just flaunt their wealth. They don't do nothing but buy things and videotape it and put it on blogs and their Facebook and all that stuff, and show all their wealth, and they make money doing that. And it just works that this craving for wealth and riches, rather than we should crave God. We should want Jesus more than anything, because he promises that if you seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all these things will be added to you. But the whole world system has it the opposite. You seek wealth, you seek money, you seek things, and then happiness comes to you. But it's not true. It's a dead end. It's a lie. I sell real estate. I meet lots of very wealthy people, and I meet lots of people that have all you could ever think or want, and they don't have happiness and they don't have peace. And should the world go away of one world government and the American dollar devaluated to nothing, then what are they going to do? But if you know Jesus, then he'll walk you through, like Paul, anything, everything. In verse, let me continue in this verse 9. And fall into temptation and a snare and into many foolish, useless, godless, and hurtful desires, and plunge men into ruin and destruction and miserable perishing. Says it all right there. Those hurtful desires, that love of money. You know, I looked up that word plunge, and two of the definitions that stood out to me was plunge was to fall suddenly and rapidly, uncontrollably. I mean, you think if you have lots of money, you have control of your life? It's not true. The Bible says that if you put your trust in that you could plunge suddenly, uncontrollably. Another thing says suffer a rapid decrease in value. And that's the news that I've been seeing that could happen. So I'm not going to put my trust in money. I'm not going to love money. I'm going to love Jesus. And that's the secret place you can hide and know that if you do that, God will not forsake you. He will not let you down. And that's a good place to be. It says, for the love of money is a root. The love of money is a root of all evils. It doesn't say money is the root of all evil, which was how I was told when I was younger. It says, for the love of money is a root of all evils. It's a root. And so this is important to see what God actually says here, because I have a mortgage payment, so I need money to make my mortgage payment. My car's paid off, so I don't have a car payment, but it needs gas, it needs new tires, it needs new brakes, it needs servicing. It takes money. So money is something that we need to do what we need to do, but we don't need to love it. It doesn't need to be our trust in money. And we don't need to be seeking after it. We need to be seeking Jesus. And then he'll give us all the things that we need to do his will, to serve him with all our heart. It is through this craving that some have been led astray. It is through this craving that some have been led astray. And have we not seen that in our life? I sure have. And have wandered from the faith. They wandered away from God, trusting God, believing in Jesus, and pierce themselves through with many acute mental pains. This is one place I've seen so many people lose their heart, sell their birthright, their inheritance with God over this craving. This is very real to me. This is very real to us, where we've seen the love of money destroy a young person's life, an older person's life, and cause them to turn away from God. It's a sad thing. It's one of the saddest things that I've watched with my own eyes. It's the most heartbreaking thing when God has invited someone to be with him forever in heaven, and they get seduced, and they look at the world and the glamour and the pulls of the world, and they're allowed to grab hold of them and turn their heart away from God. All the while called by God, personally called by God, to know him, to love him, to serve him all the days of their life, and to stand one day before God and hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter into the rest, and then throw it away for this craving. It's the saddest thing. It's heartbreaking. Don't ever let that happen to you. Don't ever let that happen to you. Know where God warns us. But as for you, O man of God, flee from all these things. That's what we're going to do. Aim at and pursue righteousness, right standing with God, and true goodness, godliness. Listen to what this says godliness is, which is the loving fear of God. The loving fear of God. I love you, Jesus. I don't want to do anything to grieve you, God. All I want is to serve you with my whole heart. Anything in me that's not right, please show me and help me to get it out of me so it's not there anymore, so that my heart's pure before you. It says, being Christ-like. Faith, love, steadfastness, patience, and I love this, gentleness of heart. That love of money, that love for this world, it gives you a hard heart. A hard, impenetrable heart. A heart that is not sensitive to the touch of God. We don't ever want that to happen to us. If that devil's after you, cry out to Jesus. Say, I don't want a hard heart. I don't want it. I want a gentleness of heart. I want it to be pierceable by the Spirit of God. That's what we want. We don't want to plunge into sudden and rapid and uncontrollable ruin by putting our trust in money and loving money. In Luke 16, it's very clear. It says in verse 13, no servant is able to serve two masters. And I know these are all scriptures that are familiar, but it's good to hear them again. You cannot serve two masters. It says, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will stand by and be devoted to the one and despise the other. And that's what happens to you. When you begin to love money, you hate God. You hate the way of God. You hate people that serve God. But when you love God, you don't love money. You don't. You just trust him for it, for what you need. You cannot serve God and you cannot serve mammon, riches, or anything in which you trust and on which you rely. It says in verse 14, it says, now the Pharisees who were covetous and lovers of money. There it says the root of why they hated Jesus and they were jealous of him and they attacked him and they wanted him removed. They had to have him crucified because of what? Because they were covetous. They loved the things of this world and they were lovers of money. In verse 15 it says, but he said to them, you are the ones who declare yourselves just and upright before men. But God knows your heart. For what is exalted and highly thought of among men is detestable and abhorrent and abomination in the sight of God. So you think about what things that are exalted in the world today and are thought of highly. They're detestable and they're abhorrent to God. They're an abomination to God. We cannot serve two masters. In 1 Timothy, it talks about the servant of God. It's actually talking about if you desire to be a bishop or a leader in the church, a superintendent. It says in chapter 3, verse 3, it says that you're not to be given to wine, you're not combative, but you're gentle, and you're considerate. You're not quarrelsome, but you're forbearing and you're peaceable. And it says this, and you're not a lover of money. So we're all called to be ministers of God, to bring Jesus, to know him ourselves, to let God do a work and change our hearts, and to help others to come to know Jesus. And as that minister, we're not to be a lover of money. It's a dead end. It's a trap. And in 2 Timothy chapter 3, he talks about the generation that when Jesus comes back and what they'll be like. It says in verse 2, for people will be lovers of self and utterly self-centered, and they'll be lovers of money and aroused by inordinate, greedy desire for wealth. That so describes our generation. And that's what he said. That's what the Word of God says. That's what the warning of God says. It will be like the generation when Jesus comes back. That's what the generation will be like. And we're seeing that more than ever. In verse 1, before it says that, it says, but understand this, that in the last days will come, set in perilous times of great stress and trouble, hard to deal with and hard to bear. So we see that increasing as the days go on. If you go into any store, the shelves used to be what the product that you like or you went to go get, and there'd be quite a few behind it. Now they have them spaced out and there's nothing behind it. And if you get one, then there's no more there. And we're seeing that more and more, and they're telling us, even the president is saying that there's going to be shortages. So, we need to be ready. for whatever lies ahead. In Matthew, it talks about Judas. He was one of the 12, what was with Jesus all the time. But we know that he was the one that handled, it says that he was the one that handled the bag of money. Because wherever Jesus would go with the disciples, he would say, go give this money there, or, help this person out. And he was the one that would take the money and go and do. But there was something working in Judas's heart. That we got to make sure that doesn't work in our heart. It says, then one of the 12 apostles, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priest and said, what are you willing to give me if I hand him over to you? Listen to that. What will you give me to betray Jesus? What will you give me? I mean, I read that and I think, when you really start knowing Jesus, you're not thinking, what will you give me? You're thinking, what can I give? What can I give? You just want to give. You want to help people. You want to see what you can do for others. It's nothing of yourself. But when the Holy Spirit of God comes inside of you and your heart begins to change, that selfishness begins to dissolve and go away. And the desire to help others gets stronger. And I grew up, my dad preaching one message to me. You got to look out for number one, Mark. This is number one. That's what he'd always say. Point to himself and say, this is number one. Because nobody else will. And that was not the way of God. But that's all he knew. Because he didn't know Jesus. He knew what he grew up in, and that was what he's taught, and that's what he taught me. But that's not what Jesus taught me. And we don't look out for number one. We look out for doing the will of God and serving Jesus with our whole heart, and then he looks out for us. I mean, God is so taking care of me through my life. I could spend 5 radio programs of unbelievable testimonies of the provision of God, of the blessings of God, of the goodness of God. Not that I deserve one bit of it, but if you serve God, he will bless you. That's the truth. And have I served him blamelessly? No, I've made lots of mistakes, done lots of things wrong, and he's always had mercy on me. He's always helped me. He's always forgiven me when I've asked him to forgive me. He's been so patient, so kind with me, and I'm just so grateful for that. Everything I have has come from God. I mean, I spent all those years in New York striving, trying to become a rich guy that travels around the world and knows all this stuff. And what did it work in me? A hard heart, an emptiness of soul. And with God, it's totally opposite. And there was times in my life where there was lack in the sense of about abasing. I mean, when everything crashed in 2007, I sold real estate. Real estate market crashed completely. Everything stopped. And it was, if you did get a contract on a piece of property, most of them fell through. And I remember one day, during that time, if you had a sale, you're happy. If you didn't have a sale, you were sad. And I'm like, I am not living this way. Jesus, you did not call me to live this way. I'm not living on this roller coaster ride. And so I had a big contract come on a piece of property. It was a dentist from Atlanta, and it was going to be a sale. The